Bonjour. I would like to quickly show you 3 different ways to study your clothing vocab words. The first way is to make flashcards. First of all, I highly recommend that you take your set of flashcards and cut them into 4 because then you save paper and money. Once you've cut your flashcards to be a little bit smaller, on one side you'll write what the word is in English. And then on the other side, you'll write what the word is in French. And I highly recommend color coding, picking a color for masculine and feminine, especially if you're a visual learner, so that you can kind of start to remember that an anorak is green, and that's my chosen color for masculine. Another example for feminine, let's do a baseball cap. Would be une casquette, and I'll do it in my feminine color. Make sure you spell your words correctly on your flashcards so that you're not studying the wrong thing. Now, once you have your set of flashcards, you can study them 2 ways. You can look at the English side and try to say, okay, that's une casquette, that's an anorak, or even easier, you can look at the French side, okay, that's a parka or a ski jacket, that's a baseball cap. You, as you're studying, if you don't know what it is, put it back in the stack so that you have to study it again later. If you do know what it is, get rid of it. And that way you only need to practice it as many times as it takes until you know all of your words. You could also make a study sheet using these flashcards or using your vocab list. In order to make a study sheet, the requirements are simple. All you have to do is look at your list and try to write the words on your list or your flashcards. So like a baseball cap is une casquette. And then I check to see if it's right. A parka is an anorak. Now, if I make a mistake when I check it, I highly recommend that you write your corrections in another color so that you can see and learn from your mistakes. Now, you don't need flashcards to do this, and you could just use your list of words. You could also do a copying sheet to study your vocab. Sometimes I'll give you a copying sheet, sometimes you can make your own, but here's what it would look like. And your first job is to write out all of these words in French. Now, the very first time you might want your notes, I recommend doing it without your notes to see how much you know. Jacket. And so you'll write out the whole list of clothing terms. Now, then you need to take your list, your notes, and actually check to see if they're correct or not, because I've made a mistake here. And again, in another color, make a correction so that it stands out and you can see, okay, chapeau, E-A-U, a chapeau. When you have filled in the first column, you will, I'm struggling, you will fold the column so you can't see the English words anymore. And now you need to fill in the English column. An anorak, that was a ski jacket or a parka. Blouson, that was a jacket. And chapeau is a hat. And so I'll continue down filling in the whole column. If I don't know it, maybe write it in a red pen or another color so that it stands out. And we fold again. And hopefully I'm starting to make fewer mistakes and learn from what I did previously. Like a hat is a chapeau, like that. You would keep going, fill it in English and in French one more time. I will say that I frequently have students that try to cheat the system and they just straight up do this and go, but the joke's on them because they are still practicing. It's just not as effective as flashcards where you actually have to stop and recall. These are almost like a paper form of flashcards all on one page. Now, that means that you can go through and do it and then just put the folds in afterwards and call it a day. It's not as beneficial, but it is still studying. Now, if you don't have one of these already given to you, you could always make your own. You could take a piece of paper, fold it up, make some lines, as many or as few as you want, and you could just make your own list. Okay, I'm gonna do glove, hat, suit, and then you would try to write them out on your own, etc. So these are 3 different strategies you could use in order to practice your vocab. I highly recommend trying all 3, picking one you like, doing mix and match for different units of vocab, but these are great ways to study and practice in order to be a good language speaker and a good speller. Au revoir.